Hello, hello, hello. I am the Linux Mensch. Today I'm going to take a look at Ubuntu long-term support distribution. So let's get to it. So I'm at the Ubuntu website. Just type in ubuntu.com. And what I did was I went to Get Ubuntu. Click on this menu. This pops down. And I just clicked on this. Now I'm not going to download it because I've already downloaded it. But just click this on, download 22.04 long-term support. And it will download it. It's a large ISO. So now I'm going to close this, and now I'm going to log into a virtual machine of it, and I'm going to go through an install and take a look at it. Okay, so I'm logging on to the Ubuntu ISO and try or install Ubuntu. I'm going to hit enter. And this ISO is 5 gigabytes, by the way. And that's about the largest ISO I've ever seen except for Windows. And actually, I think the Windows ISO is 5 gigabytes as well. Okay, so it brings you to this screen where you can click on this one and log into the system and play with it. Or you can go directly to install it. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just click on Install Ubuntu. I'm going to go through a direct install, going to play with it, show you what it's about, and make some personal changes to it. So English US, that's good enough for me. I'm going to continue. Now you have the choice of a normal installation or a minimal installation. I'm going to stick with normal. That's the default. Download updates while installing Ubuntu. I'm going to leave that on. And I'm going to install third-party software. And I'm going to continue. And you can resize the partitions yourself, but I'm going to leave it on the default. Erase disk and install Ubuntu. Now, what are the advanced features? I'm going to skip the advanced features. I'm not going to encrypt it. And let's go through it. So I'm going to click install now, and I'm going to go through an installation. And I'm going to continue. Now, this installation is going to take, I think 10 minutes it took. And I'm going to continue. And after I install it, so now I'm going to put my name in. And I'm going to call this Ubuntu-3. And I'm calling it 3 because I already have 2 installs that I played with. And my username is Mensch. I'm going to put my password in. Put my password in again. And I'm going to hit continue. So it's installing. This install is going to take 5 to 10 minutes. I think it's going to be closer to 10 minutes. After I do the install, I'm going to log into it. I'm going to do an update. And the update's also going to take about 5 or 10 minutes. Then I'm going to play with the system and show you what it's about. And I'm going to make changes to it, personal changes to it. So I'm going to pause the video and come back when the installation is done. So don't go away. Okay, so the installation finished, and I'm going to restart the computer. Hit enter. And there we are. We're at the login screen or the display manager. So I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to put my password in. I'm going to hit enter. And let's log into the system. And we've logged into the system. And of course, I'm going to skip this. And enable Ubuntu Pro. That's something you have to sign up for. It's free, but you have to sign up for it. So I'm going to skip that. The default is skip for now. So let's hit next. Would you like to send information to Canonical? I'm going to say no. And I'm going to hit next. And of course, the system is going to crash. This page is going to crash, not the whole system. Ubuntu is not responding. Oh, there it goes. I thought it was going to crash. We're ready to go. Let's do done. There we are. So this is a virtual machine, so my resolution is off. So I'm going to right click, go to display settings, and I'm going to click this on. I'm going to go down to 1366 by 768. And of course, I'm going to hit apply, keep the changes, and you won't have to do this if you're doing this on bare metal, but because it's a virtual machine, I have to fix the display. Now the display is a bit off still. This never happened before in any other distribution, and it's only happening to me with Ubuntu, because normally once I put it to 1366 by 768, the display is totally perfect, but it's still off a bit. There's some black here and some black here, but that's going to be fixed when I do a reboot. Okay. So we have updates. Install now. Yes, I'm going to click that on, and we're going to install the updates. So it's asking for my password. I'm going to hit enter, and it's installing the update. So I'm going to pause the video and come back. So don't go away. Okay, so I have to restart the computer. So let's restart it. Oh, that was a quick reboot. So I'm going to put my password in, hit enter, and there we are. Now, what I'm going to do is click on this. Actually, what I'm going to do is click on this. I just want to make sure everything is up to date. Oh, you have to download the software catalog. Okay. I'm just going to pause the video while it's doing this. Oh, I didn't really have to pause it. So this is the software center, and there's more software updates available. So I'm going to click this on, and it's showing the updates that are available. There's Firefox, Gnome, Snap Store, and Snapd. So I'm going to update all. Oh, it's asking for my password. Hit enter. And right now it's updating Firefox. You can see it here. So I'm just going to pause the video while it's finishing this update and come back. So don't go away. Okay, so it finished doing the updates, but now unable to install updates. No, cannot refresh Snap Store. Snapdoor has running apps. Okay, that's strange. So it updated Firefox, but it wouldn't update Gnome, which is 528 megabytes, or the Snap Store. I don't get that. Let's try again. Update all. Unable to install updates. Okay. So I don't know how, and I really don't care about the Snap Store, but are we running on a slightly older version of Gnome? How do we update Gnome? Are these security updates? I don't know why that's not working. How about that? The update all button wouldn't update this. It updated Firefox, but it wouldn't update the Gnome. But by clicking this individual button, it's updating it. So if it's updating Gnome, I wonder if I have to reboot. Let's just let it run through and see. Oh, it updated it. So this update all button wouldn't update it, but updating it individually would. I wonder if it will do the same thing for the Snap Store. Let's update it. Oh, won't update the Snap Store, maybe because the store is open? I don't know. Well, you know what? I don't care about the Snap Store. The only thing I cared about was the Gnome. And I wonder if I should just log out. You know what? I'm going to log out and back in. I'm not going to reboot. Let's just log out. And I'm going to log back in. Let's put my password in. And there we go. Okay. So we're all up to date. Now, this bar on the side I don't like, and it's kind of big. So most people would have the display resolution like 1920 by 1080. Oh, there's more software updates available to download. What's going on here? Well, let's look at this first. So normally I would have the display at 1920 by 1080. Let's apply it. Keep the changes. So the bar wouldn't be so fat and intrusive, but I like things large. And number one, I like things large for my own eyes, but also for the video. So I'm going to change it back. I always do my display settings in my videos, or in my virtual machines actually. Any virtual machine that I'm using, I always do the display to be 1360 by 768. Let's keep the changes. Let's close it. Now let's go back to the store. Now it's saying there's more updates. So let's click on the updates. Oh, I thought we updated the Snap Store. Well, let's update it again. Let's put my password in. This is kind of weird. Authenticate. Oh, unable to update the Snap Store. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. So if you don't like this bar on the side, what you could do is click on this. Let's go into settings. So of course, this is the Gnome desktop environment, but it's the Gnome desktop environment configured by Ubuntu to the way they like it or the way they want it to be. So Ubuntu has modified it. So if you're in Arch Linux and you download the Gnome desktop environment, or if you're in pure Debian and you download the Gnome desktop environment, it won't be exactly the same as this. It'll be similar, but not the same. So once you're in settings, you're going to go, let's go to appearance. Number one, I'm going to click on the dark theme. I like that. Ah, that's better. And then if you scan down, we have the dock here. So I'm going to move the dock to the bottom. I prefer my dock to be on the bottom. There you go. And I'm going to auto hide the dock. Now let's close this. And I don't like this home button being there either because we have the home button here. So what I'm going to do is right click this. I'm going to go to desktop icons. And it says show personal folder. I'm going to turn that off. So I got rid of that. I don't have to delete it. I turn it off. Okay. And now we can right click here and we can go into change background. They have wallpapers. This one reminds me of Windows XP, I think it would be. Really older version of Windows, maybe Windows Vista or Windows XP. And these two as well. So there's really not much of wallpapers in here. I'm just going to leave this wallpaper the way it is, even though I don't particularly like it. But wallpaper is not a big deal because you can always download and put your own wallpapers in there. Of course, you have Firefox. This is your file manager. This is Rhythmbox. It's a music player. I'm not going to open it. And of course, you can go here. And oh yeah, one thing I did want to show before I do that is that when you do open up something like files, your bottom bar disappears. So when you have an app open, and let's just open up Firefox anyways. I said I wasn't going to, but let's open it. So you can see when you open up Firefox or any other app, that bar goes away. It's hidden. So it's not wasting real estate. Let's close Firefox. I'm not going to configure Firefox to the way I like to do or harden it or change the settings because I don't want this video to go on too long. And of course you have your show applications and these are all your apps. Remina is installed. Wow, that's nice. And you can go more and you have apps here. Let's go back, click on that and go back. You have your utilities and the terminal that's installed by default is the Gnome terminal. And let's just make that a little larger. Let's go into preferences. Let's click on custom font. Let's kick it up to 15. Let's select it. Let's go into colors. Let's go here. Let's go green on black. And let's see what that looks like. Don't know if I like that. Let's go up to Xterm. And let's close it. There we go. HTOP and NeoFetch are not installed. We go HTOP, not installed. NeoFetch, not installed. How about that, eh? So like I said, these are your apps. I'm surprised Remina is installed. Remina is an app for remoting into other computers. Of course, LibreOffice is installed, the whole LibreOffice suite. A calculator, of course. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete some things. I'm going to make some changes. So first I'm going to go to the Software Center. And I'm going to install 3 things from the Software Center for several reasons. Number one, I don't remember what they're called in the Debian or Ubuntu repos, so I don't know what name to type in the terminal. And number two, I want you to see how the Software Center works. So I'm going to go to the magnifying glass. I'm going to type in XFCE power, and I'm going to install this power manager. And there's a reason why I'm doing this. Let's install it. Put my password in. And you can see here it's installing. You can see this orange line. I don't know how well this is going to show up on the video. And it's done. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to install this. And you can see it's installing right here. And that's done. So I'm going to close this. And oh, my terminal is not pinned to the dock. Okay, so I'm going to open this. And I'm going to open up my terminal. And now the rest of these apps I could install in the Software Center, but I like installing things in the terminal if I know the correct name to type in. And of course, you know that if you've been following my channel and watching my videos. So I'm going to install a bunch of programs. I'm going to install HTOP, Xterm, Git, NeoFetch, Materia, GTK, theme, LightDM, GTK dash, greeter, LightDM, GTK, greeter, settings, Vim, GU. So I'm going to install Uncomplicated Firewall, but G Uncomplicated Firewall. The only difference is that normally in my Arch videos, I install Uncomplicated Firewall. And then of course in the terminal, you have to turn it on and put your settings in for it and so forth. But this time I'm going to install G Uncomplicated Firewall. So if you don't know, G stands for GUI. So it's just an easy way of turning on your firewall and changing your settings. Okay, so so like I said, normally I just do Uncomplicated Firewall, but today I'm going to do G Uncomplicated Firewall. And I'm going to do awesome and PCman FM. Let's see if this works. And I did this wrong. I forgot the most important part. Sudo apt install. I'm going to put my password in. And let's install it. So while it's installing these, oh, look at this. Now this is very interesting. I've never seen this before. This is something I've only seen, and I've done lots of distributions. So what I'm going to do today, besides installing all these programs, I'm going to, so this Ubuntu came with the Gnome desktop, which comes with GDM, and GDM is the login manager, or it's properly called the display manager. So I'm installing LightDM, and I'm going to do an experiment also, because someone made a comment in my video saying that with Ubuntu and many other distributions, you can install another display manager or login manager alongside of it and it will work, but you can't delete the default login manager or display manager because that will destroy your desktop. And I don't believe that's true, and I'm going to prove it. But so what I'm going to do is I'm installing all those other apps. I'm also installing LightDM. And I'm going to delete GDM3. That's besides the point. So normally when I install another login manager or display manager alongside the default one, I go into the terminal and I type in sudo system control enable LightDM, and that will make sure LightDM starts on Reboot. But this is doing it for you. So I'm in a terminal, I'm installing LightDM, and there's a package in here that recognizes I'm installing a secondary display manager or login manager, and it's asking me which one I want to be default. So that's really amazing. I'm impressed. I wasn't expecting to see this, and I'm really impressed that this is here. I've never seen this before. So I'm going to use my arrow keys to highlight LightDM, and I'm going to hit enter. And that way I don't have to go in the terminal and type in sudo system control enable LightDM or sudo system control disable GDM3. Follow me? So I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so that thing just automatically disabled GDM from starting on Reboot and enabled LightDM to start on Reboot. And I don't have to type in sudo system control disable GDM or sudo system control enable LightDM. Hope that's easy for you to understand. So at the moment, I'm going to have two login managers or display managers, but what I'm going to do, just to show you that it works, I'm going to remove the default login manager or display manager, which is DDM3. Okay, and I'm going to show you that it won't break my desktop. And it's done. That was fast. So now I'm going to clear the screen. So you can have several display managers or login managers installed in your system and just have one set to turn on when you boot into the system. But just to prove that you can delete or remove the default login manager or display manager and it won't break your desktop system, I'm going to do it. So GDM3 is the default display manager. Let's remove it. I'm going to do sudo apt remove. Oh, and another thing too, this person also said that in Ubuntu and in many other Linux distributions, if you remove the default terminal, it will also break the desktop system. So let's do that. And I know that's not true, that the person is wrong. They're mistaken. So I'm going to do that as well. So I'm going to do sudo apt remove. So I'm removing Gnome terminal, which is the default terminal in the system, and GDM3, which is the default display manager or a login manager. And we're going to see it's not going to break the system. And then I'm going to reboot, and then I'm going to make some other changes as well. Okay. So I just removed Gnome terminal and GDM3. I removed the default terminal and the default display manager in Ubuntu. Now let's reboot. And we're rebooting into the system. And there we are. We are at LightDM, the login manager. And I'm going to click on this. So now we can see we also have Awesome installed because I installed the Awesome window manager. But let's just log into, I'm going to log into Ubuntu on Xorg. Put my password in, and there we are. I removed the default login manager or display manager, and I removed the default terminal. And look at this, my resolution is better. My resolution wasn't right before, but now that I switched login managers, my resolution is perfect. How about that? So now what I'm going to do is go here. Oh yes, and I installed the firewall. So let's turn on the firewall. Put my password in. And all I got to do is toggle this on. It's easy peasy. There we go, and the firewall is now on. Now what else am I going to do? I'm going to make some other changes. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to pin Xterm to the bottom bar. Add to favorites. Yeah, let's open up Xterm. And now look how small it is. Oy, oy, oy. Now normally in Arch Linux, when you install Xterm in Arch Linux, the screen is bright white, or the background is bright white. But in Debian distributions, when you install Xterm, the background is black. But look at the font. So if you hold down your shift key and hit the plus, now look at it's readable, but still not great. But I'm going to fix that, okay? Git clone https //gitlab.com /artibis1/mensch.git. I'm downloading my GitLab repository because I have some configuration files in there. And if you want to do that and you can't remember this command is in the show notes of all my videos. There we go. So now I'm going to clear the screen. I'm going to cd into Mensch. I'm going to ls it. I'm going to cd into Linux Mint Ubuntu. And I'm going to ls it. Even though we're not in Linux Mint, hey. And what I'm going to do is type in this command. cp -R awesome 2 tilde -dot config. There we go. And what else am I going to do? I'm going to ls-8 and I'm going to copy xinit rc z history x resources ZSRC 2 tilde home. Now I'm going to type in Zesh. Oh, you know what? I forgot to install Zesh. I'm going to do cd. I'm going to do sudo apt install Zesh. Put my password in. I forgot to do that. Okay, now I'm going to type in Zesh. There we go. My Zesh is working. Now I'm going to do sudo vim etc password. And I'm going to go to Mensch. I'm going to go to the end. I'm going to change Mensch to Zesh. So Zesh is going to be the default for Mensch. I'm going to quit out of there. So now I'm going to log out. I'm going to log out. I'm going to log back in. And I'm going to open up Xterm. And there we go. I have Xterm with my nice font. I'm going to do an HTOP. And there's HTOP. Now we can see it's running at a little bit high. 921 megabytes of RAM. In this virtual machine, I gave it 4 processors, 4 gigs of RAM. And the installer gave it 4 gigs of swap. Now I didn't choose to do that. The installer matched my swap. So I had 4 gigs of RAM. The installer gave it 4 gigs of swap. Normally when I do my Arch installations, I don't use swap. So now what I'm going to do is log out. Let's log out. And let's log into Awesome. Now we're in the Awesome Window Manager with my configuration file. And let's open up a terminal. Here's my terminal. Let's do an HTOP now. Now we're running at 498 megabytes of RAM, which is a little bit high for Awesome, but not really that high. Let's quit out of there. Let's run neofetch. So we can see we are in Ubuntu 22.04 LTS. My shell is Zesh. I'm running the Awesome Window Manager, and my terminal is Xterm. And I'm running at 498 megabytes of RAM. And let's do an HTOP again. And there we are. Let's do Firefox. And there we're in Firefox, and you see I haven't hardened Firefox or changed the settings, or I'm not going to spend time doing that because the video is long enough, and I'm going to close the video soon. So let's exit out of here. Oh, let's open. I installed PCman FM, so let's go into PCman FM. Oh, that's terrible. So let's do mod key P. Let's do power. So this is why I installed the Power Manager for the Awesome Window Manager. I'm going to turn it off, so my screen never turns off when I'm in the Awesome Window Manager. And mod key P, or the Windows key P, and I'm going to type in custom look and feel. I installed this, and we're going to go down to Matera Dark. Should I go up? Here it is, Matera Dark. An icon theme is going to be, we could keep it on there. Let's apply it. So let's open up PCman FM and see what it looks like. Oh, that's nice. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is log out. Let's quit. Let's go back into Ubuntu on Xorg. Let's hit enter. Put my password in, hit enter, and we're almost done. There you go. Let's open up Xterm. Let's do, actually, let's do it this way. Let's go here. Let's go to HTOP here. Let's do it this way. Make it big. And now we're running at we're back up to 982 megabytes of RAM. And that's it. In this video, I installed the latest version of Ubuntu long-term support with the Gnome desktop environment. And I gave you a brief tour of it. I showed you how to install apps from the Software Center. I showed you how to install apps in the terminal. I showed you how to install some of my configuration files. I showed you how to install Awesome with my configuration file and how to make some changes in it. I even showed you how to install Xterm and LightDM, and I showed you how to delete the default login manager or display manager, GDM3, and how to delete Gnome terminal, and how it doesn't break the desktop environment and the system works. And I was surprised that when you install another login manager or display manager, the system automatically pops up a screen and asks you which one you want to make the default one when you boot into the system. So that way you don't have to do sudo system control disable GDM3 or sudo system control enable LightDM. And I was really impressed with that. And like I said, I also wanted to show that it is possible to delete the default terminal and the default login manager or display manager. No matter what distribution or desktop environment you're using, it won't break your desktop environment. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I am the Linux Mensch.